President Muhammadu Buhari bids the departing ministers farewell. Tripartite meeting on university strike to continue next week. Plus, correspondent X-rays effect of lingering ASU strike on students. Hello, this is Panorama, reaching you live from the NTA Enugu Network Center. I am Mina Adobe Kobasi. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed confidence in the ability of a significant number of the Federal Executive Council members to aspire to higher elective positions, including the presidency, saying they have been sufficiently equipped. This was at a valedictory session for those leaving the cabinet to pursue their political ambitions. 10 members of the Federal Executive Council have indicated their desire to contest either the presidential, governorship, and National Assembly elections. 9 of them attended the farewell audience with the president.
And outstanding service delivery will be on display. This will be part of our legacies to Nigerians. Let me acknowledge that prior to some of you joining the cabinet, you had made your marks in other areas as governors, legislators, entrepreneurs, and co-professionals in different fields, etc. The experience and expertise you brought on board have significantly resulted in enormous development in various sectors and the accomplishments of our programs. These include infrastructure, agriculture, health systems, financial management, administration of justice, building social safety net systems, etc. For members of the cabinet that are remaining on board, I wish to remind you that the journey to the finish line is very far, and this calls for more diligence, resilience, and commitment to serve Nigerians better.
The federal government says it will not leave anything to chance in its unshakable resolve towards ridding Nigeria of the menace of money laundering, terrorism, and other financial crimes. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this while signing into law 3 new bills passed by the National Assembly aimed at enhancing the fight against corruption and terrorism and other acts of economic sabotage. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
At a brief but very significant event, President Muhammadu Buhari signs into law the Money Laundering, Prevention and Prohibition Bill, Terrorism, Prevention and Prohibition Bill, as well as the Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Bill 2022. The acts, as now being referred to, will not only strengthen the anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing framework in the country, but also address identified deficiencies in the task of effectively ridding Nigeria of corruption and related acts of economic sabotage.
Let me now assure every Nigerian that this administration will continue to do its best to secure the nation. These bills represent not just legislative instruments, but very significant governmental actions, projecting courage, determination, and sincerity in tackling the menace of money laundering, terrorism, and other financial crimes.
The Money Laundering Act confers on the EFCC the legal status of the Special Control Unit against Money Laundering. The Terrorism Act, amongst others, suppresses financing of terrorism, while the Proceeds of Crime Act makes comprehensive provision for the seizure, confiscation, forfeiture, and management of properties derived from unlawful activity.
The fight against corruption requires an all-of-government, all-of-nation approach, and as such, each of us as Nigerians have a role to play. We will not rest until we rid the nation of the menace of money laundering, terrorism, and other financial crimes. And God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And even before the signing of these three bills, we have achieved very, very significant landmarks in the fight against corruption in Nigeria. And with signing of those three bills today, we have taken the fight against corruption to a much higher level. And our prayer and hope is that Nigeria will now be further recognized as one key central country, a partner of international repute in the fight against corruption, not only in our country, but across the globe.
Apart from the enough punitive measures and containment strategies provided against abuses and compromises, the new laws also mandates the creation of dedicated accounts for the proceeds of crime and other confiscated assets towards enhancing accountability.
This is a great milestone by this administration, a real breakthrough, because the three bills amended contain so many elements of best practices internationally. That's from civil forfeiture to prohibition of terrorism financing, issues of partnership with other countries, and so on and so forth. So the bill means a lot for both the global community and more especially West African countries.
The new laws enhance the desire of the society to fight corruption, money laundering, and terrorism financing. So we should expect an improvement in the efforts that anti-corruption agencies have been making in this regard.
So we are going to be everywhere, going forward to ensure the enforcement of the law and to ensure that those avenues, where the gatekeepers are assisting, the corrupt element within the society to launder their process of crime are now being watched strongly, with the legal framework that the new bill have given the EFCC.
During the event, President Muhammadu Buhari once again applauded the National Assembly for its tenacity, courage, and commitment to ensuring that Nigeria put in place effective measures towards addressing money laundering, terrorism, and terrorist financing for a stable and prosperous economy. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, have been called upon to consider the plight of Nigerian students and call off their ongoing industrial action. President Muhammadu Buhari, who made the appeal, also urged students in Nigeria's public tertiary institutions to exercise patience as government strives to address the nagging issues in the nation's university system within available resources. This was at the National Productivity Day and the conferment of a National Productivity Order of Merit Award on deserving Nigerians. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo once again has the report.
37 eminent Nigerians and 11 organizations in both public and private sectors of the nation's economy were conferred with the National Productivity Order of Merit Award for their high productivity, hard work, and excellence in the last 2 years. Speaking on the theme of this year's celebrations, achieving higher productivity through improved educational system, President Muhammadu Buhari said he is not oblivious of the numerous challenges bedeviling the education sector. He expressed the conviction that given the tenacity with which the challenges are being addressed by his administration, a better and more improved educational system will be achieved.
Qualitative and durable educational system will not only set our country on the path of sustainable growth, but will also guarantee Nigerians a higher standard of living and improved quality of life. We shall therefore do all we can to uplift the standard of our educational system. I want to use this opportunity to call on the Academic Staff Union and the universities to consider the plight of our students and call off the ongoing strike action.
The president directed his chief of staff, ministers of labor and employment, education, as well as finance, budget and national planning to immediately bring all parties to the negotiation table to critically look at the gray areas in the demands of not only ASU, but all other university-based labor unions. He said if Nigeria is to be transformed into a competitive, strong, vibrant, productive, and sustainable economy, improving the educational system should be accorded the highest priority.
Fellow Nigerians, may I, at this juncture, appreciate your unflinching support, patience, and patriotism in the midst of these hard times in our nation. A lot has been accomplished, but there is still much to be done. I assure you that this administration is committed to the Nigerian people, and we are determined to remain resolute in our commitments and shall continue with our programs and plans to strengthen the institutions to enhance governance for effective service delivery, national development, and global competitiveness.
President Buhari had earlier congratulated all the awardees for their various accomplishments and well-deserved recognition. The awards, he however said, should spur them to greater heights, as productivity is a fundamental determinant of rapid economic growth, social progress, and improved standards of living. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a tripartite meeting between the federal government and all striking public university workers is to continue next week. This was the outcome of the meeting led by the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari. The meeting, which has in attendance representatives of government agencies, Inter-Religious Council, NIREC, led by the Sultan of Sokoto, and the Crown President, ASU, NASU, SANU, and NAT, focused on how to narrow the issue towards addressing all the concerns of the university once and for all. NIREC leadership pleaded with the unions to call off the strike while negotiation continues. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Chief Chris Ngege, briefed the media at the end of the meeting.
So everybody is happy. We have reached some agreements, and we hope that by next week, those agreements will be maturing, and then the different unions will have something to tell their members so that they can call off the strike. Yes, we put some timeline for some aspects like renegotiation of 2000 agreement in terms of condition of service and wage review. So we are hopeful that by next weekend that the unions will see a conclusion of that area.
There is a new spiritual twist in attempts by Nigerians to pressure both the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, to reach an agreement in resolving the lingering industrial action by university-based unions. The new twist is an initiative of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, and the tool being deployed is prayer and fervent intercession for divine intervention. The report. For Christians generally, God answers all, and prayer is the master key. Whether it is the economy or politics or indeed universities and incessant ASU strikes, most Christians will say what God cannot do does not exist.
So our plea is federal government, whatever that you have agreed with us in the past, which you believe will help our tertiary institutions. Federal government, can you please implement them?
So when senior pastors across denominations gather to pray, it is with a strong conviction and faith that that change will change for good. Those ones gathered at the prayer rally with hope to God for changes in all ramifications of Nigeria's statehood. The key thing here is prayer and faith. Faith, after all, is the evidence of things hoped for and unseen. In Enugu, Mina Adobe. We'll take a break here. Panorama continues in just a moment. Do stay with us.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
To have you back. The over 2 months and still counting industrial action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, is already taking a negative toll on university students, their parents, and even the striking lecturers themselves. Chineye Nwoye reports that the strike will no doubt have an overbearing effect on the socio-economic sectors of the country.
I've been in 100 level since 2019, and I just entered 200 level. We are still taking our exams. We are still happy we've entered 200 level, taking our exams. They called the strike. And after the strike, we are moving into the exams immediately without anything being taught. Nothing was actually taught.
So I have like 2 sets of people that are meant to come inside the school, but because of this ASU strike, it's going to slow down a lot of things.
These students, just like many others, are bearing the brunt of the lingering strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. For about 3 months now, they have remained at home with no academic activities, and the end of the strike seems not to be in sight, as ASU this Monday extended it by another 12 weeks.
About 2 million young people released into the community, and then these 2 million, uncontrolled energies, so you have rape, and you have armed robbery, because these are young people who work with their peers.
A statement by ASU's president, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, says the extension was to give the federal government enough time to satisfactorily resolve all the outstanding issues and attend to its demands.
So the last time lecturers in Nigerian university system, the last time their salary was increased, was reviewed, was 13 years ago, 2009. And from that time till now, nobody, government, ASU has been on government to review the salary structure of the union.
The striking lecturers seem not to be having a good time also due to the strike.
Even lecturers, our children are here. Our children are part of the school system. Our children are at home. And the worst is that presently, federal government has stopped the salaries of lecturers since March.
In Enugu, Chineye Nwoye, NTA News.
And of course, that report forms the basis of our discussion on Panorama this morning. And with me in the studio is Olu Omotayo Esquire. He is the president, Civil Rights Realization and Advancement Network. It's good to welcome you to the program, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, quickly, what is your impression of the ongoing ASU strike?
Well, the ASU strike, it has become incessant in Nigeria. When you look at other jurisdictions in West Africa, even in advanced countries, they do go on strike. But the problem is that in the last 20 years, ASU have gone on strike for 20 times over issue of funding. And when you look at other jurisdictions like Kenya, like Ghana near us, even in the US, you see that academic staff do go on strike. A professor in the University of Ghana says that why there are less strike in Ghana is that the academic staff display a high level of commitment and because of intervention of Committee of Vice Chancellors. So, but all these things are lacking. Look, I read an article in New York Times which says that 14 state universities in Pennsylvania went on strike. So it's not peculiar to Nigeria, issue of funding. And in US, what that report was saying that because of decline in state subsidies to universities. So ASU should be able to contend with, in the interest of the students, to contend with whatever the government offers. It should be give and take. Because the main problem is that the government in 2013 said we are going to fund university with 1.3 trillion. But they said it will be released in tranches. But along the line, they released the first one. Thereafter, they have not been forthcoming. I think in 2017, they released 25 billion or thereabout. So the basic problem is issue of finance. Okay. So ASU should not take that one as the reason of, there should be dialogue and discussion between ASU and the government.
Okay, sir. ASU has consistently rebuffed all calls to call off the strike. What effect do you think that will have on our education system?
It's going to have a very bad effect, and it portends danger in future for our children, because children have been at home, like in 2020, they were at home for 9 good months. So it doesn't give a good impression about educational activities in Nigeria. So the only thing is that in the interest of the students, they should consider whatever the government offer and let the schools reopen.
Okay, talking about the effects, what do you think are some other economic implications of this strike outside the education sector proper?
I don't think of anyone for now, but I know that the major implication is that they are damaging the educational sector.
Okay, so there is a meeting slated for today between ASU and the Chief of Staff. What do you think will be the outcome of that meeting?
And since the President also has appealed to them, we're optimistic that ASU will listen to pleas from government quarters and return back to class.
Okay, your advice finally on ASU and the government.
My advice is that the government also, since there was an agreement, if the funding, if the money is not, because government say in the next 5 years we'll be releasing 220 billion, and which they were not forthcoming. I think the other time they released, the last one they released was 25 billion. So the government also should be sincere in the release of these funds to ASU, and also ASU also should consider the economic implication, not only in Nigeria, but what is happening in the whole world, and try and agree with what government is saying.
Okay, Barrister, thank you so much for coming on board today.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll be speaking with Olu Omotaya Esquire, President of Civil Rights Realization and Advancement Network. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, local government council congresses were conducted across the 17 local government areas of Enugu State to elect national delegates and representatives of people living with disabilities ahead of party primary election. Susan Eze reports that the exercise was monitored by officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC.
Through option A4, the exercise was supervised by a 5-man electoral panel from the national body of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. The team was chaired by Hajia Amina Jambo. Addressing party delegates at the centers visited, Hajia Jambo commended the people for observing the rules and guidelines of the party in the conduct of the congresses, noting that the panel has not received any report of crisis in all centers visited.
People are behaving accordingly. You can tell from the crowd that you're following all the rules. You can see women. Some states you don't see women. We are seeing disabled. We've seen it everywhere we go. So that means people are following. We're very proud of you, and we'll go back. You don't have any objection so far. Clearly, you're doing things correctly.
The panel chairman was also impressed with the effective monitoring of the exercise by the INEC officials. Guided on his supervision tour across the state by the state PDP chairman, Augustine Nnamani, the team described the conduct of the local government congresses in Enugu State as true democracy in action. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
And that's it on Panorama from the NTA Enugu Network Center. We thank you so much for being a part of it. Remember to join the NTA as we stand against rape and rapists. Do have a lovely day.